That is expected or might play out throughout the evening.
This election is very important. People have to realize the freedoms that are on the line. People need to make sure that their own rights are protected at this point. It's bigger than politics. It's about social issues. It's about humanity. It's about disparities in healthcare. There's a lot of things that we need to make sure that we're protected.
Right now, Skyfox is giving you a live look. This is over one of the polling locations, usually one of the busiest in our area, in the River Oaks area right here at West Gray. There are still people in line, so you have about 20 minutes or so to get in line, because if you are in line by 7 o'clock, you will be able to vote and it will be counted. And welcome back. We are joined now by Wake Up anchor Lena DeFlorius, keeping tabs tonight on the balance of power in both the U.S. House and Senate. Lena.
Yeah, good. You know what? Take a look at the balance of power here. So we'll give you a visual representation. There are two chambers of Congress. You've got the House of Representatives and you also have the Senate. Now we'll start in the House of Representatives because you've got 435 seats that are on the ballot tonight. These are two-year terms. So these same seats were on the ballot in 2018. They'll be on the ballot again in 2022. This is based on population. That's why it's so important. Hopefully you filled out your census this year. All 435 seats are up for election. Of the 435, Texas will be sending 36 reps. Now in the Senate, let's check this. You have 100 seats. Why? Because every state gets two. Doesn't matter the size, doesn't matter the population. You know, Rhode Island fits within Harris County. They have two. We have two as well. Now, these are 6-year terms and they're staggered. That means of the 100 seats, only 35 are up for election. You're wondering why no one's talking about Ted Cruz. Well, Ted Cruz was reelected in 2018. That means he has 4 years left on his current term. Right now, we have John Cornyn facing off against MJ Hagar. Now, when we take a look at where we are with the House, Yes, the House of Representatives, it is actually Democrats that have control. Of this 435 seats, 232 of them are with the Democrats compared to 197 for Republicans. And then you have 6 that are non-voting members. But of course, they want to shift this balance of power, and it can happen. In 1994, there was something called the Republican Revolution, where Republicans maintained every seat. They also gained another 54, putting them in control by a massive margin. When it comes to the Senate, remember, 51 seats is all you need for control. That's a simple majority. But only 35 of them are on the ballot. Republicans have twice as many as Democrats do. Democrats have 12 on the ballot compared to Republicans who have 23. So there could be a shift here. Republicans can afford to lose 2 seats, still maintain control. If they lose 3, we'll have a 50-50 split. If that happens, whenever there's a full Senate vote and everyone votes along the party lines, the tiebreaker would be either Mike Pence or Kamala Harris, because the Vice President of the United States also serves as the President of the Senate. Back to you.
Lena, I know that you're watching a lot of different races then that would impact this across the country. So outside of Texas, what are some of the key congressional races that others can watch along with you?
So there are 35, right? You don't want to watch all 35 of them. There are a couple that I think are very interesting. Kentucky, for instance, Mitch McConnell, he has been serving in the Senate representing the state of Kentucky for 35 years. Now, even though it was called already for the presidency, this is still a race that could be tight and contentious, although it is expected that McConnell will be back leading Republicans in the Senate again. Also, Arizona, Martha McSally. She has never actually been elected to the Senate, but she is a senator. And that started in 2018 when she ran against Kyrsten Sinema, Democrat. She lost that race, but she still was sworn in 2 months later after the death of John McCain. And I can't remember growing up there a time when John McCain was not the senator. Actually, a former Senator John Kyle was nominated to the seat, and then they had to make another appointment after he resigned. So Martha McSally is also facing off a big name, Mark Kelly, former astronaut. And also he is married to a former representative from Arizona, Gabby Giffords, who was actually shot in a mass shooting in Tucson. But this is a lot of name recognition, and a lot of pundits do expect that it is going to turn where Arizona has 2 Democratic senators.
Well, speaking of numbers, Lena, we know Texas has 38 electoral votes. We've talked a lot about electoral votes in the Electoral College tonight. Why is it that Texas has 38?
Again, it is based on population. That's why it's so important that you fill out your census. We have 36 representatives, and every state gets 2 senators and also 2 electoral votes. That's how we come up with the magic number of Texas, 38.
A lot of numbers, a lot of races as well. Lena DeFlorius, thanks so much. We'll be checking in with you throughout the night. And coming up, Houstonians are giving their take on tonight's election.
I just really, I wanted to make sure that I had my voice count. I mean, that's what it's all about, right? It's about being able to feel like you're making a difference, make your voice active, and do your part as a civil duty.
A big day and a big night ahead, so of course we decided to bring in our Your Take panel to get their perspective. Thank each of you for joining us here tonight. I want to start with you, Franny, small business owner. You identify as a Democrat. How are you feeling tonight?
Jonathan, I'm feeling anxious. Just ready for this to get over with. We are wanting to win tonight, of course, just like everybody else does. I think everybody is waiting and breath and just wanting to just a good outcome tonight. Just,
All
no
right.
violence, no nothing.
Let's hope not. Yeah, that's right. Julia, you're an artist. You also are an independent. You voted today on Election Day, not on early voting or during early voting. Was there any particular reason that you waited till today?
Not really, Jonathan. I've never really had issues with voting in my area. I voted in past presidential elections, and there's only been a few people at the polls, so really no issues. So I just went ahead and did it on the election day.
All right, Tyler, you are a law student at South Texas College of Law. You're a supporter of President Trump. The president says he plans to declare victory tonight. Are you confident that that will happen?
Absolutely, as well he should. He's run a great ground game, a great campaign. He's demonstrated some solid gains in the polls as of late. And I think, one thing to keep in mind is if President Trump does not win re-election, Republicans are going to riot. But we're going to riot in a very Republican way, which means, no need to board anything up. Just clear the phone lines because we're all calling into Rush Limbaugh this Friday.
Collins, you're a young voter. We see your Vandy shirt there, a freshman at Vanderbilt University. You were moderate, you considered yourself at one point, but ended up voting for President Trump. What really swayed you in the final days?
Yes, Jonathan, I did indeed vote to re-elect President Trump. And like you said, I am a moderate, and I was throughout the entire election. And I was very close to swaying to either side. But one of the main reasons why I decided to side with the president on this occasion is because of the whole debacle with the contract with Black America, where rapper Ice Cube, who was very concerned about Black America's financial success during COVID and moving forward in this decade, presented an opportunity to both campaigns to really take on this ordeal and make sure that Black Americans have these opportunities. When the Biden campaign looked at it and said that we'll hold that off until later, we'll decide what to do with this after the election. Whereas the Trump campaign looked at that and decided that we are going to take this and make this one of our campaign promises so we can actually help to improve Black America's financial stability moving forward. And for me, that showed that President Trump, although he has a very aggressive rhetoric, although there are a lot of things about him I don't like, you cannot deny his commitment to try and help Black America, which we were doing fairly well under his administration before COVID, which was one of the reasons why I decided to side with him.
All right, so made that decision later in the game. I want to ask all of you, we have some other big races tonight, not just the presidential race, mayors, congressmen and women. We have sheriffs being elected, city councilmen. Any other key races that are really important to you that you're watching? We'll start with you, Franny.
Definitely looking at the Houston Council. I want to see some, I think Julia said it earlier when we were speaking, some change in that. So we're definitely going to go for that. There's a lot of people running right now, so we're just waiting.
Julia, how about you?
The Senate race for MJ Hagar and Cornyn, I would really like to see a change in this country with all the divisiveness. So it would be great to get some other people up in the Senate. So.
Yeah, that U.S. Senate race is a huge one.
Yeah.
And Tyler, how about you?
Yeah, I think in 2018, the Republican Party got a memorandum from America that we needed to do something different. And tonight is the night that we can turn that tide and take it back. And that's going to start with people like Kevin Brady and Dan Crenshaw, folks that are representing our local area that we hope to see move into House leadership and turn some things around from the last couple of years under Nancy Pelosi.
That's right. A lot of eyes on the balance of power there in Washington. And we'll finish with you, Collins. Any race particularly that you're watching?
Yeah, I'm looking at all of them. I happened to do some work for a city council campaign last year, and definitely the city council is one that I'm observing. Senate race as well. MJ Hagar has been a rising star, and I've definitely been very approving of her campaign. I think she's going to do some great work. But also to harp on Tyler's point, I also am look very positive on Dan Crenshaw and his campaign. I feel like he's a very good candidate for his district and what he's doing.
A lot of races, a lot to watch. Our Your Take panel, thank you all so much, and we hope to be checking back with you later on. Hopefully we'll have a decision, at least many decisions tonight. Thank you so much.
All Black Lives Matter from like womb to tomb, meaning that, it's significant to see that we are providing for the next generation a chance to have the life that their God-given right to life, not just the lives that are able to be vocalized right now, but we need to speak up for the lives that can't vocalize for themselves.
We are continuing to follow the numbers for the presidential race, and right now former Vice President Joe Biden is said to be leading with 16 electoral votes. President Donald Trump with 13. You of course need 270 to win, so we have a long night ahead. The president has been called as winning in West Virginia and Kentucky. Former Vice President Biden being called as the winner in Virginia and Vermont. It's still too close to call in Georgia, and it is a close one in a lot of places. Arlena DeFlores standing by now, continuing to follow breaking news as well.
Yes, we are just minutes away from 9 more states closing their polls. That'll be in 4 minutes from now. That does include Texas. Remember, if you are in line or you know someone who is in line right now or jumping into line in the next 4 minutes, they can still vote as long as they don't leave that line after 7 o'clock. Also, we're looking for the Panhandle of Florida to close their polls as well. Remember, they're on 2 time zones, so we're getting closer to finding out who will win the election tonight.
And we appreciate you choosing Fox 26 for your election night coverage. Our coverage continues now on our digital platforms with the Fox 26 live stream hosted by Fox 26 anchor Tom Ziska.
That's right, Caitlin, but we will also be breaking in on air with updates on results as the numbers are coming in, because really we've seen that they are coming in minute by minute. We'll have full on-air coverage coming up tonight. That'll be starting at 9 o'clock. So, Caitlin, a lot that we're watching tonight. You also can get the latest results from any local races. We have a lot of races, the district attorney's race. We also have races for sheriff here in Harris County, commissioner's court, a lot of races, and we'll have those on our website, fox26houston.com.
Another thing you can find on our website is many of the candidates having interviewed and spoken with our Greg Grugan, who hosts What's Your Point every Sunday here on Fox 26. If you look up What's Your Point on fox26houston.com, you can find some of those interviews and a chance to look at some of those candidates. Make sure that you download the Fox 26 News app to receive notifications as key races get called, and stick with us for your local election night coverage. And now we'll hand it over to TMZ.
night coverage. Glad to have you with us. After a year of or more of campaigning, election night 2020 is finally here. A record number of Texans have gotten out. They've made their voices heard. The polls just now closing in Texas. The busy night at the Harris County election headquarters at NRG Stadium. They begin tallying of the ballots. We have Fox 26's Matthew Seedorf there tonight, live with the latest. Matthew, what do you know? What do you see?
Well, Tom, as you mentioned, this is the place to be once the polls close at 7 o'clock, because all the polling locations in Harris County, there are 800 of them, will bring their results here, and they'll be coming right over. If you want to swing this way, Matt, they'll be coming right through here, and they have what they call runners, and they'll bring in those results through here to be counted and collected for all of Harris County. And we do expect results maybe a little bit earlier than normal, just because we had such a record number of early votes that were cast. So they've actually been counting those early votes throughout the day. And as those polling locations do close this evening, we will see those runners start to trickle in with results scattered from those 800 locations in Harris County. But again, the polls are just closing at 7 o'clock, and we will keep you updated here on the website as well as the Facebook page and on TV as the results come in from Harris County. Live inside NRG, Matthew Seedorf, Fox 26 News.
So, Matthew, before you go, in the 2018 election, there was a massive delay in getting results. I don't know that you know the answer to this now, but if you can work on finding out what they have done to remedy that so that we're not waiting until the next morning to get those results this time around.
Yeah, definitely. It's hard to anticipate the